Oh, we came on late. Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 107.
What's up, Vin? How you doing?
I hit the live button too late, and I missed my cue to come in.
That's all right. People are gonna miss that.
Can we do it real quick? Can we do it real quick again? Just real quick. This is until the 5 second. Can we do it?
Right, hold on. Yep.
Can we do it? I just want to do it real quick. Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 107. Okay, feel better.
Thank you, Vinny.
Thank you.
Now we're official.
We're official. How you doing, Mike?
Good. You know what shirt I'm wearing today?
I don't know. Vin and Mike? Oh, Turntable LLC, not LLP.
Yeah, you call it LLC.
LLCP, whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, I didn't see my little man in the lobby recently.
That's so funny. He doesn't say anything.
I know. Hey, Victor. Saying hello. Turntable. Thank you guys again. It's pretty cool when our magnets are still up in the place. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it means a lot.
KKFI, Kansas City. What is up?
What's up, KC?
And our website, vinandmikepodcast.com. Our friends there at Podpage, keep sending me all these emails about upgrades and everything. So I'm excited for what they're bringing in I guess it's more the second half of 24, and part of our agreement with them, we'll see some of those upgrades once we have it. And once I know if it's anything that's cool to our audience, I'll let it know. If it's just back end gobbledygook for us, nobody really cares. So, all right, Mike. It's going to be a little bit tough discussion, but it's okay. We're gonna talk about the Knicks. We're going to talk about a tough loss at the end of the season. I think probably expectations that were coming into the season, they definitely exceeded them. But again, it's never fun when you don't win it all. I don't care what your expectations are or whatever. But we'll talk. Give me some of your feelings on the end, and then we'll talk about some of the future stuff and all that cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, Vin, is that there are excuses and then there's reality. And this was a reality that they had so many injuries, this team, and dealing with a very scarce bench. For what it's worth, this team did a hell of a job competing, never giving up, 110% day in and day out. I mean, the last game, Game 7, obviously, you're right. You go in to win. That's what it's all about. When Jalen Brunson gave the press conference and someone had asked him, do you find that this season was successful? He just flat out said no, because that's a champion right there. That's what these Knicks want to do. But you look at that last game. They put Anunoby in, right? Hits his first 2 shots, and he's taken out of the game. So it was kind of like a gimmick in a way. We were excited to see him, then he's out. You knew Josh Hart wasn't playing at 100%. Then Jalen Brunson hurt his hand. What else could go wrong with this team? But I am going to say this, and my neighbor's going to like this, because we actually watched the game together. He's a Pacers fan. And we were very civil with each other. We have that kind of friendship. But you got to give the Pacers credit. You really do. They played a great game. They shot, I think the total for the game was 67%. In the first half, they shot 76%. That's unbelievable. No matter what's happening with the other team, to shoot that kind of percentage. And I kept saying, are they ever going to miss? They played an outstanding series. I don't think they were given enough credit. A lot of people, we're talking about Knicks, but hats off to the Pacers. With that said, going into next year, I think we got to hold our hats up high. This team did, I think, exceed expectations for what they had. Remember, not just the injuries, Vinny, the trade in the middle of the year, with Emmanuel Quickly and Barrett, RJ Barrett. Yep. And trying to, play with the new guys, Precious and OG getting that chemistry. Now, when OG was healthy, I think in the month of January, February, they went 12-2. So he obviously made so much impact to this team. You keep it healthy, and then, again, we even discussed Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, both out, Bogdanovich. So I think the Knicks have a great core, but we're still that one really, it doesn't even have to be a superstar, but very like B plus, A minus player that could complement Brunson, come in, score a lot of points. I think we're one player away from being truly getting to that next level. And I think there's people that we have to look at potentially, like a Donovan Mitchell, a Devin Booker, Paul George. I mean, they're all out there. Kevin Durant. So it's going to be very interesting what the Knicks do. Vinny and I were talking about this earlier, giving away your first round picks. Who do you get rid of here to make this happen? But I think something definitely has to be done. And, I think Leon Rose is going to be all over it. He's been very patient with this team. He's made the right adjustments. They haven't been rushing. They've been doing it the right way to really build up this team and build up this chemistry. So all in all, I'm really happy for what I saw this year. My final statement is going to be that they brought out the heart of New Yorkers. And, when I saw Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart after the game, which was devastating loss, obviously losing in Game 7 at home at the way that they did, for them to get out of the car and really acknowledge the fan base, that to me just says it all. They want to win. They want to beat Knicks. And basketball's back in New York, and it just not just great for New York City, but great for the NBA.
Yeah, I think the way I look at it, that was a very tough Game 7. We forget that Brunson still had the foot injury. As much as he wasn't questionable anymore, there's no way that foot injury just went away. So, Hart with the abdomen strain, OG with the hamstring, no Robinson, no Randall, no Bogdanovich. We were down to the nitty gritty. Those guys played hard. Burks played hard. McBride played hard. Hartenstein, Josh Hart. That's the thing you got to remember. He's 6'4" and was playing power forward, way out of position, way out of position. He's normally a 2, maybe a 3, but he's normally a 2, and he's playing the 4 and playing it really well against Siakam and whoever else they were throwing at us out there. But this was a team that really gave 110% every game. I think Tibbs even said it. It got to a point where they couldn't overcome all the injuries. It got too much, right? And it's really what it came down to. But for the future, I look at them as they got that core group, right? So it's essentially Brunson, DiVincenzo, and Hart, right? The Villanova guys, that's the core right now. That's your 1, 2, and 3, whatever positions. Those are three guys that are interchangeable in a certain way with, playing positions, right? They all can bring the ball up the court. They all can play off the ball. So it's a nice core 3. Hartenstein is a free agent. We'll see if they bring him back. I don't know what happens with Mitchell Robinson. So I'd like to see them probably pursue a nice big man for the middle there. We can use, we don't need a scorer there. We can use a really good defender, at the 5. We'll see if Anobi's going to come back. We'll see how Randall comes back, if he's going to really truly be like that number 4 with the other 3 guys. There's a lot of question marks to me with Julius Randle because this is the second year. Remember, last year he had the ankle, even though he played on it, but he had the bad ankle that he had. I'm pretty sure he had off-season surgery on, and now he has surgery again on his shoulder. So you worry about, is this guy, fit to play, let's just say 70 games, in the course of a season and be ready for a real grueling playoffs? Because the playoffs, you play every game. You got to play minimum, you think, 40 minutes when you're the, this number 2 star, or sometimes even the 1A, right, on the team. So it's important to see what they do with him. and I think they just got to improve some of the bench, right? Like add some, like you said earlier, Malik Monk, a guy you like.
I do like him.
Maybe fill in as a sixth man because that's his role essentially his whole career. He can give relief to like a DiVincenzo and a Hart and even Brunson. We were joking, right? Like draft Bronny so we can get LeBron in.
Like a package deal.
Yeah. But in seriousness, you brought up some really good names. Booker, Durant, Donovan Mitchell, who wants to essentially be here, right? I mean,
wouldn't that be funny? Hindsight that was originally who we were trying to get, and we end up with Jalen Brunson. Thanks goodness. But then after a couple of years, he comes over. So
isn't it? I look at Rudy Gobert, and I look at Mitchell, and I'm kind of shocked that Utah team wasn't better. Like those guys are such key, important guys for Cleveland, and Gobert has been such an important guy for that Timberwolves team, especially on the defensive and rebounding side of things. You would have thought that team would have been more competitive, over time. But I guess sometimes a change of scenery, change of coaching, and whatever. They just But Mitchell, he's a local kid, right? He's from New York. He was a Knicks fan growing up. Essentially was hoping that they would trade him here. I'm guessing we didn't want to give up 5 first-round draft picks or whatever it was, and all that craziness. But we'll see. I mean, if I'm Cleveland, I don't trade him, right? Like he's the guy there. I mean, they couldn't win a game without him, not on the court. That's another team, right? They were a complete mess, injury-wise and all that. So, not that Boston wasn't going to beat them, but they had no shot essentially, like towards the end. So, but to go back to it, I just again build around the core three. You got to decide early in this process if we're going to keep Randall or not. We got to decide before the draft, which I think is in June. What we're going to do here, right? We got literally a month and a half, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So,
I want to
figure it out.
Yeah, I want to allude to one more thing that I was very impressed with in the latter games was Alec Burks. He really came out strong and played very well. And maybe he just proves to Tibbs that, if I have to utilize my bench a little bit more. And obviously, he was definitely dealt with challenges because of the injuries, but it just shows even for next year. And I believe this that, I think these guys could play a lot of minutes, but you need rest. It's a long season. You want to make sure that you put out the right players. But this guy proved that he could play, and he wanted to play, and it's something to really look at for next season for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was with the Knicks prior to this, right?
Yeah, he came back. He's a boomerang.
Yeah. So, and listen, 10, 15 minutes off the bench with that kind of output, why not? I know Tibbs likes a guy that plays a little more defense than maybe he does, but at the same time, they got to be a little flexible in bringing in a guy that can score 10, 15 points quickly, right? You don't need him out there the entire game, but to give Brunson 7 minutes of rest throughout the course of a game, 8 minutes of rest. So
that's what Bronny's going to do.
Yeah.
Seriously, let him play 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's a natural point guard.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting to see where if he gets drafted. That's the first thing, because he didn't have any kind of college career at all. So, but again, they say he played out of position, like the whole thing. So we'll see where it ends up. But let's see if he gets drafted. And then if he gets drafted, goes to wherever, will LeBron opt out and then sign with that team?
Right.
It'll be very, very interesting when it happens. So the draft is June 26th.
Okay.
So we're 5 weeks away. So essentially, the NBA playoffs are over, and then the draft. So in the next 5 weeks, the Knicks got a lot of questions here. I like I said, I like to see them know that Hart, DiVincenzo, and Brunson are the core. Decide what to do with Randall. Decide what they want to do at the 5, and then fill in the bench. And then if they're going to trade those 2 draft picks and other draft picks and bring in another superstar, it's possible that. I mean, I would think they'd have to trade Randall to get another superstar, but who knows? Maybe 5 first-round draft picks brings in somebody. I don't know.
I 100% agree with you. You have the Villanova 3. Those were your guys this year. Those are the 3 people that carried your team. They have the good chemistry. You can't break that up. And you're right. Who do you put around those players to continue the success?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the guys you mentioned that are electric scorers, right? 25 points a game added on to what Brunson was doing. And then, you move DiVincenzo as your 3rd scorer, Hart as your 4th. I mean, the team expands like automatically. So, and I think there's a great opportunity here. I just think there's a great opportunity moving forward and moving into next year. So I'm excited to see where we are on June 26th. I hope I'm not disappointed in the way 76ers fans were disappointed when they traded Moses Malone. Then they had the first-round draft pick and drafted Brad Daugherty and then traded that away as well. And it's like they traded all their players away. I think that was like
how about what's worse, the Portland Trailblazers drafting Sam Bowie opposed to Michael Jordan. I mean,
or drafting Greg Oden instead of Kevin Durant.
There you go.
I mean, they're like notorious for these like ridiculous draft picks. So, we'll see how it works out. So I was very shocked. I'll just transfer real quick at Denver.
I knew you were going to say that.
Up by 20 with 10 minutes to go at home, and 10 minutes to go in the third. Sorry, not in the game. 10 minutes to go in the third. Up by 20. And I think at the end of the third quarter, they were I want to say they were up by 1 or down by 1. And then the game was essentially like over in the fourth quarter. It's like they just were up by 20 and decided that was the end of the game. We have no energy left.
Yeah, it was bad. How do you do that? How do you do that at home? Just inexcusable.
Yeah. Now that's an interesting team, right? Like, you have the best player in the NBA on your team. You guys won 3 of the last 4 MVPs. He's unbelievable. Murray is fantastic in the playoffs.
No.
Where's the adjustment, right? Are you going to trade Michael Porter? You're going to trade Aaron Gordon? Like, what's the adjustment for them? Are you going to bring in, a third scorer or more of a regular season kind of guy? Because Murray is not a regular season player at all. He's Mr. Playoff. Plus, he's never really healthy during the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you look at the scoring balance, it was Murray and the Joker. I mean, that was it. That's where you got close to 70 points.
Yeah.
You look at the Timberwolves and how much more balanced they are. Let me just think. You got Karl Anthony Towns, McDaniels, Gobert, Edwards. They all were in double figures. That's a team that has much more depth. You're not just relying on 2 superstars. That's what makes the Timberwolves dangerous. Yeah. They do.
And they play defense. They play tremendous defense. And Anthony Edwards is the next superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, he just has that explosive ability, and you can already see he has that mindset that I'm gonna, bite your head off if you try to get in my way.
Right.
It's that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant way of playing the game.
Oh.
Which I was very, very impressed with DiVincenzo's, getting in everyone's face during the Indiana playoffs, right? Miles Turner probably could have squashed him like a grape. He didn't back down to him. He didn't back down to Siakam. Guys got real guts out there.
Yeah, but it was good seeing that because it was very reminiscent of 90s basketball. It was great seeing that. Just 2 teams that wanted to win, and at all
Yeah.
costs. It was really,
Listen, I like competition. I'm not for dirty play. I'm for competition. I want guys to beat each other. Putting together those super teams and all that stuff always aggravated me. From the original like Celtics with Garnett and Pierce and Ray Allen to LeBron and Wade and Bosh, and then putting all these like super teams together. Those guys in the '90s, Jordan and Barkley and Ewing, and even later with Shaq and all those guys, they even though Shaq moved around, he didn't move around because he wanted to form a super team. He just moved around, where it was best for his financial career over time, and just ended up playing with Wade and Kobe on top of it. But those guys all wanted to compete, especially the 1980 draft picks from Jordan, Olajuwon, and Ewing, and all those guys. So,
well, you know what I said? We talk about it. Yeah. Well, look at all those people you mentioned. Each team in that 80s and 90s had some kind of superstar representation.
Yeah.
I always joke around with the game NBA Jam because – when you played that game, it was so much fun. But each team had a couple players. Yeah. Everybody knew when you came to the arena who they were, right? So that was
everyone had a big head in NBA Jam.
That game was awesome. That was one of my favorite games. Yeah, I mean, it was. But back then, the game was very different in that a center was a true center. It was a post up. You never saw centers taking 3-pointers. And that's evolved tremendously. The whole game has changed, right?
Yeah. Big men are, really shooting the ball, 20, 25, 30 feet, some of these guys. I don't know. I always try to think where it like started. I'm guessing Garnett really had like more of a perimeter game. A guy like 7 feet. I mean, we know Patrick could shoot it, but he was still a post player.
Yeah.
Essentially. But he could really shoot, a jump shot. But I think Garnett probably was more of a guy that was 7 foot with like going to the basket, right? Like not posting up that much, right? I mean, Durant is 7 foot and he never posts, right? He's always playing a perimeter, shooting three, putting the ball, and drive into the hole. So. I don't know who else, in the older days that I could think of, but I'm guessing Garnett's like the first guy that really was like that tall that did it. Now all these guys do it. Like Jokic, as much as he's big and strong in the middle, he'll just shoot a three, here and there. Towns shoots a lot of threes. I didn't realize that when I was watching the Timberwolves game. I don't remember him playing that kind of game. In college, right? With him and Davis, I thought were more of like Olajuwon and like Sampson back in the day, where they both like clobbered the hole more than playing that like more of the Twin Towers game.
Yeah.
But now he shoots jump shots. All these guys.
They do. Look at Wembanyama. I mean, that guy is.
Oh yeah.
Like watching him play this year was a pleasure. The way his agility, it's incredible. And just he was just
he did something. X amount of blocks and X amount of 3-pointers. Like the first guy to do like whatever numbers they were, something like that.
Yeah, I remember when San Antonio played the Knicks at the Garden. He had an amazing game. I mean, it was fun to watch.
He's only going to get better, that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like he's going to score like tremendously. So, all right. So, Boston, Indiana. Who do you like?
I like Boston. I think they could do it in 5 or 6.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my prediction. I think.
And now I think
they've had plenty of rest. Indiana's coming off a very, tiresome 7-game series against the Knicks. I think Celtics, as I said all year, has so much depth, and they've been the number 1 team for a reason. So, also home court, of course, which is huge in the playoffs. So
yeah, I'd be interested to see when Porzingis comes back, and of course, if he comes back.
If he comes back, that's a major question. But you see that even without him, right? What they have done and who steps up, whether it's Derek White or Pritchard or Hartford or Tatum. I mean, they are so stacked, the Celtics, Vinny, that it obviously if he comes back, just another addition, but I don't think it's going to hurt them too much.
Yeah, Horford had an unbelievable Game 5. I think it was 22 and 15 or something like that. He's 37 years old. He's been around a long time, Al Horford.
Yeah.
So,
I think the other series, Timberwolves Mavs, I think that's going to be a great one. I like that one. I think the teams are very evenly matched, and I could see that one going 7. I think that's going to be the more exciting series. And the Mavericks, I mean, what a huge victory for them and how they've been playing, and we'll see. It's going to be that's going to be a series to watch. It's going to be
as good as Edwards is, and as good as he can put up 30 points a game, I still think Luka and Kyrie are better offensively than he is right now at his point in career, right? But Minnesota plays unbelievable defense, from top to bottom. Like all those guys. Like look at Michael Conley. The guy he's got to be what, 30, 33, 34? He's up there, right? Like for an NBA player. He made so much money in Utah too. I think he got like a max deal before like max deals were given away. But he's a big time defender for them as well. You got him, the Towns and Gobert in the middle. I mean, it's just like a whole different way of playing. But with that said, I think they're young on the offensive end of the court. And they have times where I noticed in like the Denver series where they just disappear from scoring altogether, including like Edwards. So it'd be interesting to see if they can click that next gear, especially I think Edwards and Towns have to really be more consistent offensively. They just have to be.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all plays out.
See. It'll be exciting.
All right. I know we're going to wrap this one quick tonight, but I just want to make a couple quick notes here. Tomorrow, please. Rangers, Panthers. We'll see. Our buddy Steve there down in good old VA is real excited for this series. He knows that the Panthers have much better goaltending than the Hurricanes do, and he's excited for this series. Of course, here in New York, anytime the Garden has anything going on of significance, the city hops and jumps and everything. The Yankees, Judge has now found his groove. He's about ready to bat 400 the rest of the season and hit 50 home runs again. And Soto is doing a good job. Besides, Holmes blowing the game last night. Team's been fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm not going to complain. Like I said, I wait to June 1st to really make any kind of, but there's nothing really to complain about. That starting pitching is much better than I expected. I know Steve would say the same thing. And then Met fans, I don't know what you're going to do with Edwin Diaz. I don't know what you're going to do.
What a turn of events for him.
Oh, man. I think that Achilles injury just hasn't – I don't know if he's found his arm strength back, right? One thing to throw 100 miles an hour, it's, the control, it's the ability when the legs feel good in the arm, so you get late movement on the ball. It's all the little things that maybe aren't clicking for him right now because I doubt I don't know how long it took him to start throwing again, coming off that kind of injury, So we'll see as the season goes along. He's, Lindor, I don't know what they're going to do with him. He's making $33 million a year to bat under 200. So, and then Alonso, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
There have been trade rumors about him.
They if I'm them, you got to make a decision before the trade deadline, right? Like, if you're not going to keep this guy, I would just dump him, right? So, hey, look, somebody's trying to sell us something, Mike. Okay, so let's see. Chatbots, channels, chat panel. Wow. Steam Rise. It's called Steam Rise. We're on Steam Yard, but his thing's called Steam Rise. Oof. I tell you, the scams that are out there.
Be careful.
Spam. I tell people, if you get something, text, just delete everything. Don't click any links if you don't know it. Who cares? I mean, if it's that important, they'll send you another email or message.
Even with phone calls, like if I don't see the name, I don't even answer it.
No, I get so many phone calls, and they'll leave a message if it's important. If it's not important, they're not going to call you, right?
Hey, Vinny, it's turntable. Your chicken's ready.
That's right. Victor will call me directly. Tell him I need extra wings. I order 12. I expect 15. Like, when you go to Five Guys and you order the fries and they dump in that whole extra half a bucket of French fries in there. I expect the same thing from Turntable moving forward.
Their fries are really good too.
Their dumplings are underrated.
No one, they talk about the chicken.
The wings are the chicken, but dumplings, like you said, the fries and that cheese sauce on the side that I kept
talking about that cheese sauce.
That was good stuff.
You should do a commercial for them.
I will. We should do a commercial from the place that we can run on the show. He
would probably love that.
We'll have him come out with different things. We could do like a 20-minute show just on his food. We'll start our own separate YouTube channel,
like a food blog,
like the Turntable food blog.
Yeah.
Every week we try something new from Turntable with Victor Lee. Celebrity Victor Lee is here.
Yeah.
Little Career's #1 restaurant owner.
That's right. He is.
All right, I'm gonna let you go. I know it was a long week for you. We reviewed what we wanted to. We hope, by the way, we lost the Derby. We lost the Preakness, everybody. So we're gonna the Belmont. The Belmont's gonna be in Saratoga, so it's not really the Belmont. It's even though it's called the Belmont. So, but it's not the Belmont. But
Saratoga.
It's in Saratoga. Yeah. It's which Saratoga is the same length as Churchill Downs. So but what's his name's not going to be back in it. Mystic Dan is probably done. I don't know if Seize the Gray will be in it. I would think he might.
I would think he is. We'll see.
It's only 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some of those other Kentucky Derby horses, that favorite that race like crap in the Derby. Maybe he'll come back for Saratoga too.
We'll keep an eye out for sure.
Yeah, that might be a good race. We might get 10 or 11 horses. It might be a better betting race than it usually is. So we'll see. So, all right, everyone. Mike, have a good night.
You too, Vin.
Thanks everybody for listening.
Good night.